Those things. Hello and welcome. I'm Tracy Jane Hughes, Chief Business Cheerleader from businesscheerleadingclub.com. And I'm delighted that my in conversation with today is with the lovely Louisa van Vessem from workflowva.com. And Louisa, we've had a few conversations over the past year, really,
Yeah,
about VAs and what VAs do and how they can help businesses. And I just thought it was a really great opportunity for you just to come on and just tell us about it because so many people get so confused about, what is a virtual assistant and how they can help us. So maybe let's just start with that. What is a virtual assistant?
okay. So this is where it gets very confusing.
Oh, okay.
Assistant means so many different things to so many different people. And for many people, they still don't know what the term VA means, which is virtual assistant. So the wiki answer is something like someone who provides technical, admin, creative support from an external location often. But the reality is that most VAs do tend to work from home. Some do go and work from offices. It depends on what the requirements are from the client, really, whether it's from working from a small business to an entrepreneur. It really does vary. And then there's different types of support as well. So some VAs are very technical and work on producing websites. Others provide more generalist support, almost like a freelance PA. And then some do kind of focus on the social media aspect, the creating of graphics, the copywriting. So it's a real mixed bag, and that's why it can often be so confusing for people.
Yeah, so um, a lot of business owners will say, I need some admin support, but that admin support might be bookkeeping, for example, or it might be I need someone to file my papers away, which is obviously a physical thing, doing that type of paperwork, and that's where a VA may go into an office
Yeah,
and do that work.
yeah. So bookkeeping, for example, can be done remotely. So a lot of people are moving to cloud-based systems. Obviously, with the use of technology, it's possible to scan receipts, and then those can be fired across to the VA. Then using spreadsheets or whatever the system is that someone uses. Then other VAs will go into an office. So I've been into offices before, or a person's home, or met them somewhere, and had like almost like brainstorming sessions, a bit of a chewing the fat type of conversation, where you're feeling so overwhelmed by everything that's on your list that you need to get done, you just don't know where to start. And I've noticed of late, a number of new clients of mine have just kind of got to that position where they're just feeling like they're just so caught up with everything that they just can't see the wood for the trees, because
Yeah,
it's okay, I need to this, I need to this, I need to this, I need to this. And then there's the kind of the mundane admin tasks which are eaten into
yeah,
their time. They're a necessity, but unfortunately they're not actually adding any value in terms of monetary value or in terms of growing their business, but they're a needs must. And then they're kind of looking at it and they're thinking, oh, can I really afford to pay a VA? I'm
yeah,
not really at that stage yet.
yeah,
So I often say, start to make a note of everything it is that you're doing, whether it's a mind map, a list. Just log everything down and then look at it in terms of values, whether that be a time value. So, you've got to go for your expenses, for example. How long is that taking you? Is it taking you longer because you hate doing them? And so you're procrastinating. So you're kind of, you're doing that task, but then actually you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, and it's taken actually 2 hours instead of half an hour.
yeah,
It's easily done. You're answering the phone. And then, okay, that time, those 2 hours, if you didn't have to do it anymore, what would you be doing instead? Would it be that you can actually start work on that new project? You can start focusing on those new services or those new products. And if you look at your hourly rate, how much is it? If that's possible, it might not be possible to work that out, but how much is your hourly rate? And then look at how much it costs to outsource those tasks to a VA. And quite often, You might find that, you're charging more than you're going to pay a VA, or maybe
Yeah.
it's less, but actually, in terms of what you're going to get done, because you don't enjoy doing that task or you don't know how to do it, it's going to save you a lot of time.
Yeah, so sometimes as business owners and companies, it's sometimes that bit, Louisa, isn't it? It's I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
So and you've got to weigh up, is this a one-off, is this a one-off thing that I need to learn how to do? Or is it a once a year thing like I need to know how to do? Or is it something that I'm going to be doing regularly? And is it worth me spending time learning this, or training somebody up to learn this?
yeah.
Or is it best to get somebody skilled in to help me to do that?
Absolutely. It's a real kind of way up to kind of really see, which is going to be most advantageous to you.
Yeah,
Even if it is that one-off task of formatting some documents for you, because actually,
yeah,
it needs doing and it is a one-off task, but you don't enjoy it, or you don't really know how to start, or quite how you want it to look, or you're gonna, well, it's been on your to-do list for quite a while, and it's something that, yeah, I'm going to do it next month. It's definitely, that whole mindset of that new start, new month, get things done. And reality is, you get to that new month and it's the end of the month and you still haven't done it.
yeah,
So, where is that time best spent?
yeah. So a lot of the work and the support that a virtual assistant can do is really just about adding an extra support person into the team, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I often say, I like to work with people. It's some people kind of, if you've had a PA before, you're sort of used to that, almost that parent-child relationship, even though
Yeah,
there's a lot of respect both ways. It's a different mindset to using a VA. So when you come to use a VA, that VA wants to work with you because they want, almost like I want to cheer someone on to success. I want to help
yeah,
them achieve what
yeah,
they need to get done. It's about me supporting them, but also being their own cheerleader as well, and
yeah,
just getting those tasks completed. Um, it can often be taken for granted that you're suddenly this one man, one woman band, but actually you still need that support, or you just need someone to throw around those ideas with. Um,
yeah,
so I want a business to be a success because it's beneficial for me as well.
yeah.
Let's be honest, we're all business
Yes,
owners, and it's because of different experiences that we all have that sometimes as a VA you kind of, what I've found is someone will give me a task to do, then we're talking about stuff. And actually, I'm like, oh, have you considered this? Have you considered that? And it's because my expertise is very different to their expertise because their business is a different business to mine. It's a different business model. Their experience, their knowledge, their skill set is very different. So sometimes working with VBA can just offer you a lot more than just admin, as it's often
yeah,
down
yeah.
as. There are a lot more benefits to it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we think of a PA or a VA as just an administrator, but many of the most successful PAs and VAs are exactly that, aren't they? They're that sounding board, that coach, that right hand man.
Yeah,
Often it's almost like you're almost like a business manager, um, working alongside that business owner, depending on the type of skills that you've got as a VA. So yeah, I know the benefits of having different people in my support team, both administratively and to do different tasks, and just to have those, like you say, cheerleaders around you.
yeah,
And that's what we're both about, isn't it? It's about having the right support people in your team. So,
absolutely.
Louisa, how one of the things you said earlier on was that there's lots of different types of virtual assistant, of VAs. How does a business owner that knows they need some help with something, um, how do they go about finding the right VA for them?
This is a good question.
That's why I thought I'd ask it.
Okay, so there are many different ways. Obviously, word of mouth always works well, but then sometimes it could just be that you've got to know someone through past experience of where you've worked, or a friend of a friend. Social media is obviously absolutely huge. So LinkedIn, Facebook, going into groups, asking for recommendations. But then there's also a lot of VA Facebook groups as well. So sometimes it
Okay.
could just be about maybe going into there and sort of saying what you're looking for. It's about finding that right fit for you, though. You know,
Yes.
I'm a strong believer, and whenever I speak to someone, that you want to have that rapport because you want to have that trust there, even if it's just for those simple one-off tasks. So you only need to pay someone for, say, an hour, but you want to know that person is right for you, that they kind of understand what you do, what you're trying to achieve, because there's nothing worse than if you decide to work with someone and actually you don't quite agree with the way they've done something, or they don't
Yeah.
quite understand your industry, because it could get lost in translation.
Yeah.
So often, don't just think about those names that you always come across on social media, because
Mhm.
obviously they've got lots of recommendations, but there are also lots of VAs that are making the leap into the VA world, having had
Yeah.
that EA, PA experience, that are looking for those starting off moments, who could be those hidden gems, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
but it has to be about finding that right person that understands you, understands your business and what you're about. Because they're going to feel a bit lost if they don't get it. And I think that's critical.
Yeah. So it's about you understanding what you're wanting the VA to do, but then ensuring that they trust you,
Yeah,
um, and you trust them with your business, because essentially they're part of your team, and if they don't understand your business, it's going to be a mismatch. It's going to be a piece that's not working in your business, isn't it?
exactly, exactly. I've got a variety of different types of clients, and I've worked with different types of clients in the past, from many different industries. So my own background is that I've worked for lots of different industries. So the people I tend to work with are those that either have that industry experience or have an interest in what they do, or a passion in what they do. So that's always really a nice fit. Um,
Yeah.
and it makes that difference because they feel happier
Yes.
as well because you understand them.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds so simple, but I'm a strong believer in that. It's about understanding their values, and then equally, when you start to communicate with the VA and vice versa, have those conversations about making sure they understand what the actual brief is. Get the VA or yourself as a client to confirm in writing as well. So I always ask the client just to reconfirm, or I'll reconfirm depending on how the
Yeah.
conversation's gone, just because it's always good to have it in writing to make sure the points are clear. Naturally, you want to discuss when you need that work done by, because a completion
Yeah.
date is important. There's nothing like saying, yep, I need this done. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, when? And just because it's something that
Yeah.
you've been wanting to get completed, you may not actually have an end date in mind, but you still need to give those bits of
Yeah.
advice to the VA.
So again, it's managing your VA in exactly the same way as you would a staff member, because you
Yeah,
are part of that business team.
yeah,
And if a business has got a deadline, or you need, your template setting up so that you can then crack on and do that yourself, do add the content yourself, to things, you need it by a certain date. So yeah, getting that all clear and written down is really, really important.
no, absolutely.
So we just was just going to say we're just coming to the end of our time together, Louisa, and it's flown by. Um, so, in terms of you said that you have your own specialisms. What are your specialisms in your virtual assistant business, and how can you help business owners?
So I myself am a freelance exec assistant. So I do a lot of the, I guess, traditional type PA support,
Okay.
from email diary management to general admin, travel, formatting of documents, event support, research. So research is a popular thing to outsource now because, you know, it's
Yeah.
quite consuming.
Yeah.
And it really does take time. So just sometimes handing that over to a VA and the VA kind of coming back, you know, put it into a spreadsheet, the information, or however it's been requested, can save a lot of time for people. And the other point to point out is, you know, VAs all work differently, but often there's a minimum of like a 1 hour. So if you're thinking of using
Okay.
a VA, you know, maybe just try them for like 1 hour, give
Yeah.
them a number of different tasks. I often have people saying, oh, how long is this going to take? How long is that going to take? But actually, sometimes if you're not quite sure if you want to use a VA, why not have in mind an idea of how long it might take you, and give them a list of stuff that you'd like completed and just see how long it takes them to do in that
Yeah.
hour, and then you get a real flavour for it.
Yeah. Great tips, Louisa. Thank you so much.
You're very
And we have, and you know, I think, you know, using a VA and thinking about a VA shouldn't be scary for business owners. It's literally about adding somebody else to your team to do particular work, and particular tasks in your business, whether they're regular or whether they're one-off, and just having that flexibility of working with other people without having to employ somebody, especially when you're a growing business and you're not really sure, you know, if you can commit to having somebody like that. But sometimes, you know, we get access to better skills
yeah,
with some VAs who work remotely from our business as well.
no,
So
definitely.
thank you so much, Louisa, from workflowva.com. I'm Tracy Jane Hughes from businesscheerleadingclub.com, and it's been a delight to share our In Conversation with you today. Thank you.